Welcome to the Mini Break, your daily podcast for the biggest storylines, results, and controversies from the tennis world. Today is Sunday, February 23rd, Championship Sunday on the professional tour. We've got three wonderful ATP finals to get to during our Sunday action, a fun challenger event as well, finishing up in Drummondville. We'll talk about how Drummondville, I always want to sneak an S in there, but it is without the S. They dropped the S. It's cleaner that way. So Drummondville Challenger, I want to talk about, of course, college tennis results galore. So many fun things to discuss on these mini breaks. That's why we love to do them every day. And of course, the reason we are able to do them, our friends at Diadem, and you know the deal by now. Diadem is on the forefront of all racket and string technology going on in the tennis world. You don't want to get left behind. It's be like saying, hey, someone offered me a Google stock in 2006, or someone offered me an Apple stock then as well, and I passed up because I was like, forefront of innovations, this Google thing. I'm more of an Ask Jeeves guy myself, so, you don't want to be the guy who is on Ask Jeeves. You want to be the person who gets Diadem now, and of course, if you use our promo code CR50, you'll get 50% off your order, so be like Carousel, be like Sekou Bangura, get yourself working with Diadem gear right away. It will do numbers for your tennis game. That being said, as I mentioned, it is Championship Sunday. We'll talk about how we got there for these ATP Tour events. The place I want to start, though, we do have one final in the books already, and that is the result in Dubai, where Simona Halep, she came out as the champion. Now, she played in Elena Rybakina, the young Kazakhstan player. I believe Kazakh is the term you go with. She played someone who's playing her best tennis to start 2020. The young 20-year-old off to a 19-3 start to her season. She's racked up, I believe, a title and two finals along the way. A third-round loss for her where she held seed, ended up losing at the Australian Open, but her firepower is what stood out the most for Rybakina, who, these draws she's had, these results, they haven't been cupcakes at all. You look at Rybakina's done thus far at the start of her season, dating all the way back, and there's a reason she's at number 4 right now in the race to the year-end finals. Wins over Mertens in Shenzhen. In Hobart, she knocked off Cornet. She knocked off Zhang in the final, the Australian Open. She held seed, ended up losing to Barty in straight sets, but then St. Petersburg, she beat Sakari. She beats Dodang. Here in Dubai, wins over Sofia Kenin in 3 sets, over Pliskova, over Petra Martic 6-6, and then she came in, and you would think maybe 22 matches through 6-7 weeks of the season, that's going to be too much, but it really wasn't. She came in and gave Simona Halep everything she could offer and more. Halep in this match, a 3-6, 6-3, 7-6 winner, and you look at the stats, it really did require every bit of Simona Halep's effort, and we all know the deal about her by now, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, counterpunchers in the history of the women's game. She just moves so well, particularly on a hard court. You think you have her on a rope, and then she changed directions, right? She'll take a forehand down the line, a backhand down the line. All of a sudden, she'll snap one off and go big cross court. Her pedigree speaks for herself, and by the way, with this win, according to our friend at Alex_Borich, Alex-tennis ball. Simona Halep, with this title, she becomes the 7th active player with 20 WTA titles for Simona Halep. She joins a list of Venus, Serena, Kim Clijsters, who I think sneaks on there as active. We can discuss the merits of that at a different point. But Sharapova, Azarenka, and Kvitova, and that's the company you want to be with. Those were the names of the 2010s that she's asserting herself. Joining that group. I think she's 28 years old to start this 2020 season. She still has a lot of good tennis in her, so elite company for someone who really has been one of the game's best players over the past 5 years. And for Rybakina, I think the takeaway is just how relentless she is. She goes big, and she got, I think it was 2 or 3 let cords to go her way in that 5-all game. Now, ultimately, Halep just wore Rybakina down. She made every ball, turned it into 10, 15, 20-shot rallies. She tracked down that Rybakina backhand down the line that against a Martic, against a Pliskova would be a winner. And Yeah, Rybakina came out hot. There's no denying that. She threw Halep off with her power early on, but Halep just too good in the end for Simona Halep. Made 70% of her first serves, won 71% of those points, saved 3 of the 7 break points chances she faced. That's not great. And the other screaming stat, 11 of 31 for Halep, 35.5% conversion rate on her second serve points. That speaks to if you give an easy ball for Rybakina to tee off on, she's going to take control of the point, and that's 1-2 tennis where she's at her finest. She's such a powerful player. So, for her, she did great in those moments. She also did well when she made her first serve at a 63% clip, won 68% of those first serve points. But the same deal for Rybakina. I think the big thing is she moves fine, but she's not an exceptional mover. And when you're playing someone like Simona Halep, who's going to move you to the outer thirds, which was really the adjustment Halep made. It was don't stay cross court, even if it meant a little more suffering for Simona Halep. Even if it meant on some points, hey, Rybakina is going to go cross court after you go down the line, Halep, and Rybakina is just going to hit the winner by you, which she did on multiple occasions. But for Simona Halep, she just changed direction. She stopped letting Rybakina get in I want to say Rybakina so badly. She stopped letting Rybakina get in a rhythm, and it was a really good performance from both players. As I mentioned earlier, for Rybakina, she's up to number 17 right now, new career high in the live rankings, but perhaps more impressively, she's number 4 right now in the race to Shenzhen, the year-end finals on the WTA side, and that's correct. She's been one of the 5 best players on the WTA Tour. That's crazy to say about a 20-year-old. I think it was less than a month ago when I was all in on that Diana Yastremska bandwagon. I think I picked the wrong 20-year-old. I mean, the Rybakina bandwagon is the place to be. She has looked so good. You look at the players she's lost to. She lost to Alexandrova, number 7 right now in the race to Shenzhen. She lost to Kiki Bertens, number 6 right now in the race to Shenzhen. She lost to Simona Halep, number 5 in the race to Shenzhen. She lost to Ashley Barty, number 3 in the race to Shenzhen. So unless you've been a top 10 player, you're not beating Elena Rybakina, and I think that speaks to how strong the 20-year-old has come on. Now we'll see. She's got the Sunshine Duo. She'll get to prove her worth. Hopefully she gets a week off in between the start of Indian Wells and that Miami stretch because she needs it. But she has been outstanding. So it's a credit to her. And on the Simona Halep bandwagon, I talked about this yesterday. I'm all in on Simona Halep this year. I think she's going to win at least 1 Grand Slam. She's 28 years old. She looks like she's in her physical prime. She looks confident in everything she does on the court. And more importantly, the confidence, everything, but the crowd is loving her. I mean, they loved her this week in Dubai, and she mentioned that in her performance after. She went out of her way, by the way, to praise Rybakina, but she said, this crowd is amazing. It's always amazing when I come here to Dubai, and she said it's a good place for her to get her 20th title, and that's what she ends up with, and she's been one of the top players. You take out that semifinal loss for Simona Halep, she was cruising through that Australian Open draw, and losses happen. It was a close match, but I think she's going to look just that good going into through the Sunshine Duo as well. And then after that, we'll see what happens once the clay season starts. But I have no doubt, she's shown success on clay before. There's no reason if she carries this level over, it's not going to translate onto a different surface. But that's the action on the WTA circuit from this weekend. There is still some men's stuff to clean up. A lot of play still ongoing. We're recording this 10 o'clock on a Saturday. Now, you might be asking yourself, don't you have a life, Alex? Aren't you going to go out? Aren't you going to hang out with your friends? The answer is you guys are my friends. I feel like I'm hanging out with you now. Also, Westhoff bothers me. We live together. If I'm slacking off, he'll know now. So can't have that happen. And of course, we want to give you, the fans, a product to listen to. We're so grateful that so many of you have already expressed interest. Join our Patreon so we wouldn't leave you hanging. Now, some of the results may leave us hanging in terms of conclusions. I'm watching on the screen to my left. You're not going to see it right now on this camera, but Christian Guerin up 6-4, 4-all in that second set semifinal against Borna George. A bunch of rain in Rio. We'll talk about, the results that we've seen there thus far in a little bit. Also rain in Delray Beach. We have one semifinal in the book, but Opelka Raonic yet to play at the time we are recording this. So let's start with the matches that have finished. When you're playing indoors on a hard court, rain, snow, maybe not tornado, but rain, snow, thunderstorm, doesn't matter. You can play in those conditions, and that's what we got in Marseille, France, where we had a really fun result, one of our best on the day, to set us up for a monumental Championship Sunday in Marseille. We're going to get Tsitsipas FAA Part 4 on the ATP Tour as both guys advance. Let's start with FAA, his second straight final on an indoor hard court. He made the final last week before losing to Monfils in Rotterdam. Checkmark A, you do it 2 weeks in a row. Congratulations, Felix. And by the way, with this final, he moves up to number 18 in the live rankings. A win tomorrow. He'll stay at 18. That's the gap between him and Hatchinall, but he's one off his career high. But for FAA, you talk about what he did and the success he had. I mean, it was outstanding. 7-5, 7-6 over Simone. He continues to shine on that first serve. In this instance, he makes 68% of those first serves, wins 79% of those points, 52% of his second serve points. Only faced 3 break points on the day. Now he lost 2 of them. He lost 1 of them, but still protects 2 of 3. That's a pretty good job for himself. He created 6, converted on 2 of them. So, thus the 7-5, 7-6 scoreline. But really good result for Felix Auger-Aliassime. That shows you where my head's at, writing a piece for Francis Tiafoe for CorrectRackets.com next week. You guys should all go look at it when it comes out. But for Felix, I just think indoors on a hard court, with the weapons he has from the ground, with the weapons he has, he's comfortable moving forward. It's clear he grew up playing on indoor hard courts. He finds his forehand whenever possible. In stable conditions, that first serve is a weapon. And I've said this before. You watch him in person, he makes contact with a forehand. It sounds different than everyone else. And for Gilles Simon yesterday against Dino Medvedev, he forced Medvedev to play offense. Medvedev wasn't comfortable doing that. You allow FAA to play enough offense, he's going to hit you off the court. And that's what he was able to do today, demonstrated that sort of consistency to outlast Simone, who made this match physical, who was getting frustrated with some line calls and quickly ran out of challenges at the end of that second set. But it's a credit to FAA. He played big on the back end. He just played big in the big moments, and he's played so many tiebreakers this week. Let's see. You look at where he's gone through in the draw for Felix. He played a tiebreaker, played 2 tiebreakers in his first match, 2 tiebreakers in his second match, none in his third, 1 here in his fourth. He's grown accustomed to those settings. Crunch time, that tiebreaker he played against ArrowBar, it's not going to get more dramatic than that. So he's made a final back-to-back weeks, and he's making the leap, folks. We said it was going to happen. You don't need to freak out. The good news about the tennis season, he has a bad January. You can make up with a good February, just like that. And that's what he's done. So it's a credit to Felix that his results here, he continues to look good, and he's going to play Stefanos Tsitsipas, who really looked good today. Didn't let all that is Sasha Bublik get in his head. The big serves to the backhand, the drop shots off the serves, the drop volleys, the drop shot returns. I mean, the bump lobs, the track downs, the slices, all the funky stuff that comes in a Sasha Bublik match. Tsitsipas just stayed the course. He made 61% of his first serves, won 82% of those points, 76% of his second serve points. Was up a break, gave that break back to Bublik in the second set. Didn't matter. He took it right back, or in that first set, doesn't matter. He got it right back to go up that break for 6-5, 7-5, serves it out. It was a good performance from Tsitsipas. He did all the things you expect for a guy who is now trying to say, he's playing a 250 event. When he comes up to a 250 event, he's not there to do anything but win. When you're a top 10 player and you're playing 250s, you're there to win the event. And I know that sounds, obvious, who goes to an event playing to lose, but the expectations for Stefanos Tsitsipas, which is really what I'm trying to get to, is to win these events. And in playing Felix in tomorrow's final, look, and by the way, for Felix, in terms of number of ATP finals reached as a teenager, here's the list he joins. The guys over 5. Felix, Andy Murray have reached 5. Novak Djokovic has reached 7. Rafa Nadal reached 18. I'm sorry for swearing, Westhoff. I know we're on video. I know this is a little more editing, but that's ridiculous, by the way. And shout out to our friends at Tennis TV for that stat. You guys on video are going to see me writing down the edit there for Westhoff. But yeah, that's nuts. And I mean, Federer, Monfils, Del Potro, Zverev all made 4 as teenagers. But we've all said, when you've watched Felix play, it's just the way he hits the ball, the confidence for the young Canadian, the pedigree he has. He's always been the youngest to accomplish each thing as he's gone about his progression. He is that good. And so it's going to be a really fun final. And tomorrow against Tsitsipas, it's, again, their fourth professional matchup. FAA 4-2 winner in Indian Wells last year, 5-2 winner in the Queens Club quarterfinal in Shanghai outdoor hard. Tsitsipas 6-6. FAA also had multiple wins over Tsitsipas in the juniors. This is a tough one. I mean, Felix has this sort of weapon, the big serve, the big forehand to go into the Tsitsipas backhand to give him troubles. But this has been a lot of tennis for FAA. In back-to-back finals, he's made, I think, four? No, I just mentioned, 4 previous finals. He's yet to win his first career title, I believe. Did he win his first title? I might be wrong about that. I'm going to look that up as we go. But, Tsitsipas has the pedigree. Finals don't shake him at this point. It's going to be big hitting. It's going to be big tennis, aggressive tennis. It's going to be really fun to watch. Which way am I leaning? Ooh. Yeah, 4 runners-up, by the way. He has yet to win a final. He's going to get over the hump eventually. This isn't like one of those, is this going to plague him? No, he will win a title. But 3 sets. I'll take FA. No. Let's look at who they've played. Who's had the more difficult draw? I talked about FA getting pushed early. You know what? I'm going to roll with my gut. No, I'm going to roll with Tsitsipas. Give me Stefanos to take the title there. That's the action in Marseille. Unfortunately, that's the only action that's done for us on the day. Hey, great shot. Got to throw a rhyme in at you. But there still is other tennis that has completed. Let's go next to Del Rey, where one semifinal, already in the books. Yoshihito Nishioka, 1-6, 6-4, 6-love over Ugo Humbert. You look for Nishioka. The guy is just everywhere. It doesn't matter how windy these conditions are in Del Rey. It doesn't matter that it's been raining throughout the day and it's throwing off the conditions. Nishioka makes 70% of his first serves, wins 74% of those points, saves 6 of the 8 break points he faces. The lefty can just throw so many different looks at you, slices, short angles, and that's what he did against Humbert, a fellow lefty. He was fine playing backhand to backhand. He was fine, going into the Humbert forehand because they got to exchange forehands, and there was just no pattern he wasn't prepared for. He played slice into the wind. He was able to counter punch. When he got a look at a second serve, take quick control of that point, take that ball early because Humbert, I think he's 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". He's a fine mover, but he's not exceptional. And so Nishioka was able to get into that backhand side. He's also comfortable moving forward, snapping off a first volley. It was a really good performance for Nishioka, who I believe becomes the first Japanese man to make the final of Del Rey since Nishikori did in 2008. Fantastic result for him, and you look at where Nishioka is in the live rankings with this final. Congratulations to you, Yoshihito Nishioka. You're going to be top 50 for the first time in your career. Live ranking puts him at number 48. He wins tomorrow. He's going to jump all the way up to number 40. That feels right for the 24-year-old whose biggest impediment thus far in his career has been injuries. It's been his knee, the ACL. He's hurt it multiple occasions. When he's healthy, this is the level of tennis we've come to expect, and he's got a healthy batch of points coming off his resume and Indian Wells, but he's done well to build up a nice, backlog of points, particularly here early in the season. So, way to go, Yoshihito Nishioka, who I will always remind you guys, Max Rothman aced, and he is going to play the winner in Del Rey of that Opelka-Raonic match. As I mentioned, that one has yet to go on court. I believe they're waiting out the rain at this point. We'll see if it even gets pushed back. Nope, got pushed back to Sunday. 10:30 start for that Opelka-Raonic match. So good to know. If you want to see some live tweets, you'll know where to find me tomorrow at GreatShotPod, tweeting that one out, talking about the D3 indoors, talking about all sorts of things on our Twitter account at Cracked Racquets, at GreatShotPod. So be sure to go give those a look. I'm sure if you're listening to this podcast, you are already well versed in those 2 Twitter accounts. That's the action in Del Rey, the last ATP Tour action to talk about. We do have a little bit of stuff to cover from Rio. We had half of our quarterfinals, or I believe a lot of it might have been more than half of our quarterfinals complete. No, I think it was about half of the quarterfinals complete earlier today. You look at the results, we have the big result. Gianluca Mager, or maybe it's Mager. I apologize if I butcher that, but 7-6, 7-5 over Dominic Thiem. Now you look for Gianluca Mager. I believe it was his fourth ATP tournament of his career. You look at where he's at in the live rankings, the 25-year-old with the win, up to new career high of number 100 with this result. You look at what he did well in this match, made 77% of his first serves, won 66% of those points, 63% of his second serve points. He attacked the Dominic Thiem second serve team, 15 of 31 on those points. Mager able to save 5 of 7 break points for Thiem. He only saved 3 of 6. Mager just took advantage of a team who did not look at his best, and he hasn't looked at his best all week long. He really escaped his quarterfinal, or his round of 16 match against Munar with that 6-7, 6-3, 6-4 win. But for Dominic Thiem, this tweet comes from our friend for Mager, by the way, it comes from @Luca Beck. First player ranked outside the top 100 to defeat a top 4 player in 2020. The last player to do it was when Ferrer beat Zverev in Miami last year, so this one feels a little realer than that one. And the last Italian player lower ranked than Mager to defeat a top 4 player was Galvani when he beat Kafilnikov in 2002. So thank you @Luca Beck, one of the best tennis Twitter follows to have. But from @PaulT_tennis, who, he's going to anger you for sure, but he's also going to come up with gems of tweets like this. Here are some of Thiem's losses on the clay over the past couple of years. Mager, Verdasco, Lajovic, Laszlo Djur, Andrei Rublev. I mean, all of those losses require context, but you look at them just in general, and I mean, they're noticeable. It's something you definitely think about. It's something you absolutely, the level he just, 3 out of 5 on clay. Yeah, that's a whole different Dominic Thiem, but it is just something to take note of that he continues to struggle, and maybe we continue to say it's an overscheduling thing. Why is he playing this ATP 500? Does he need it? Who knows? So it's a really interesting thought just to keep moving forward. If you see Thiem, do losses like this affect your standing, your thinking on Thiem heading into the French Open? For now, I say no, but certainly it's something to think about moving forward. But that's a really good win for him, and now he's going to take on, I believe, Attila Balazs, who knocked out Pedro Martinez in 3 sets. That match will play if they finish this Garin Coric match, which you look at where they're at right now. The live scoring shows me that Christian Garin, 6-4, 4-all, 15-all, suspended once again due to rain. Garin went up, down an early break, 1-love, then back up 2-1, then up 5-2 in that first set. Coric breaks back 4-4-5, and serving to make it 5-all. Garin gets the break. Garin just looks so comfortable on the dirt, and he's come back. We talked about him at length yesterday, but we'll probably talk more about those Rio matches tomorrow because rain makes it look like it's going to be a late night there as well. So those are the thoughts going on right now on the ATP circuit. Last thing I want to throw at you, challenger-wise, because a really fun result for us in Drummondville right now, where we have 2 college guys, Arthur Rinderknecht, Max Cressy, going to play one another in the Drummondville final. You look at where they're both at in the live ranking. Cressy, after that Cleveland title comes off the books, he gets to maintain his standing with this final. He's at 210 right now in the live rankings. He'll get into whatever events he wants in terms of the challenger level. Rinderknecht, 205. That's a new career high for him, and he had really struggled, but last week wins a challenger title. This week makes a final to follow it up. I mean, both of these guys indoors, they're 6'4 plus, big serves, comfortable moving forward. Cressy would be a nightmare for anyone to play, and I posted this on Twitter. Who would you rather play, or who would be the most annoying to play right now on an indoor hard court? Pospisil, Bublik, or Max Cressy? And you can make a good case for all of them. I probably lean Cressy because I'd be like, dude, I'm here to get a sweat. Like, I would never play him in a professional setting. I'd be like, really? You're going to serve and volley on me right now? Like, are either of us having fun? I don't think so. Like, cool, dude. But that's my answer. Because Pospisil, I'd just be like, yeah, man, you're legit. You're handsome. All of these things. You're drinking maple syrup. I'm into your vibe. You're playing Sasha Bublik. I'd be like, dude, you've got tattoos. That scares me a little bit. You throw in knives of drop shots. What else can you do with your hands? If we're fist fighting, am I in trouble? Probably more so. But for Max Cressy, I'd just be like, ugh. What are we doing here? But still, that's my thoughts on that most annoying power ranking, I suppose. I have a theory. Rothman won't listen to this, but I hate hitting with Rothman because he just tries to slap winners all the time. And I'm like, dude, come on. That's not what we're doing here. We're here to get a sweat. Well, let's have fun. But that's a me thing. That's a problem. The real fun challenger, Rinderknecht, Cressy, playing in that final. And I mentioned this on Twitter. You look at the top, I believe, 20 players at the year-end 2017 college rankings and where they're all at. I mean, Cam Norrie, top 100, Torpegaard, Ty, top 200, Rinderneck, Vukic, Eubanks, Cressy, top 300, Redlicky, Mansouri, top 400. You guys I didn't mention, J.J. Wolf, Andrew Harris, Aragoni, Restart, Altamirano, Gojo, Kirkheimer, Arcanata. You can go on and on and on. College tennis is loaded right now, and it's a viable pathway to the pros. So we're really excited about it here at Cracked Racquets. We talk about it all the time, but it's so great to see all of these pros have success. I didn't even mention guys like Nuno and Petros, and you can go on Skander. I think I may have, but you can go just on and on and on and on. So really fun time to be a college tennis fan, especially because so many of these guys are translating successfully to the pros. But that's the updates for me. That's today's mini break. We will be back with you tomorrow for Championship Sunday. Also, a live Great Shot podcast. Jamie McDonald and I giving our winners and losers in this post-Australian Open stretch of time. Be on the lookout. I believe that's going to be an 8 p.m. Eastern time kickoff on YouTube, so be on the lookout for that. What else do we have going on? Of course, we'll have cracked interviews galore throughout the week. So much content going on. You can find all of it at our website, crackedrackets.com. If you missed anything from our time on the road at the ITA Indoors, missed anything from our time at the Kentucky Open, be sure to go to our social media accounts, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You can find all of that content there, and of course at the website crackedrackets.com. Thank you to all of our Patreons, and hopefully you got your mug, which was our way of saying thank you. And if you have not yet, it is in the mail and en route, so be sure to let us know. Tweet out a little photo at us or on Instagram, whatever, tag us with your mug, maybe even listening to a podcast as well, the full triple threat. Thank you to all of you who signed up for that John Isner, Steve Johnson competition to win that signed gear that our friends at ArrowBar were kind enough to send our way. If any of you want to sign up, I'm going to give that one more day. I'm looking at Westoff. He's saying, when are we going to put the deadline? Let's make that one more day. So for all of you, through Sunday, by Monday, we will be announcing it tomorrow on the live show, so you can hear if you want. But you've got one more day to put your name on there, put those reviews up there, and submit yourself for that competition. I'm talking to Westoff right now, so I got to give him a shout out. The super producer, Daniel Westoff, of course, our other super producer, Max Fligner, for the of an editing job they continue to have to do in each and every one of these podcasts. We try and crank out as much content as we can here at Cracked Racquets. Keep it all high quality, of course. I mean, you think I'm going to do something not high quality? Come on, have you met me? Alex Gruskin, pleasure to meet you. But certainly we are looking forward to all of that in the near future. So with that in mind, be on the lookout for all of that content moving forward. And again, the live show, 8 p.m. tomorrow on YouTube, Jamie McDonald and myself, winners and losers from this post-Australian Open stretch. That being said, for the super producers, Max Fligner and Daniel Westoff, for our sponsors at Diadem and ArrowBar, the promo code CR50, Cracked30 for your purchases there. And from all of us here at Cracked Racquets and the Tennis Channel Podcast Network, I'm your host, Alex Gruskin. You know what we say. That's the break, and we will see you all tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.